Going on this week, this is a chance to just start fresh. For this time together, this moment, we're here with our bodies, we're checking in, we're breathing. Everything's good, everything's calm. So, you know me and how I like to connect with an intention each class. So for today's class, I was thinking about energy, and especially when we feel depleted. This is inspired by the autumn as we're getting toward this season of less energy, less sun, more cold. It just feels like we need to kind of huddle up a little bit. And sometimes there's days where, it is a good season of rest, to go slower, to go easier. But sometimes there are those days where we do still need to get up and get going, maybe even after just an awful night of rest or whatever it is. So what I was thinking of for our inspiration today is just the question, where do I get my energy from? And part of that is, eating very nutritious foods. Part of it is taking full, deep breaths. And part of it is being alive with our body, just moving and stretching. There's something about, getting a little bit stronger that makes it so ultimately we have more energy in the long run. So where do I get my energy from? And it's important to kind of note those places so that you can build up those, almost like a battery, you build up the capacity of your battery. There's a story of Navy SEAL people that are doing the crazy swim tests that they do for such a tremendous distance. And there's a story I was reading where this person trying to do this test got to the point where he felt completely depleted. He's like, I can't take one stroke more. This is too much. And somewhere inside of him welled up a source of energy that he had never tapped into before. So that's that beautiful source that's inside of us. It's the breath, it's the body, it's everything coming together it's this consciousness and the goals that we have. It's all of it. And so that's our inspiration today. It's not saying to deplete ourselves like how our society wants us to just keep draining our adrenal glands, just keep running and like we're a factory. So it's not talking about that. It's talking about when we need that source of energy, there's something deep inside of us. So where do we go to for that? So that's our inspiration, our thought for today. So we'll include obviously lots of focus on the body all around, helping everything feel good, but also including the breath today. So as we're taking some initial stretches here, make sure to include your breath. We'll stretch the arms to the back wall. That's a nice inhale. Exhale, we lean kind of like a banana shape, our arms and our legs to the right. And inhale back to long. Exhale, that nice banana shape to the left. What we're doing here is increasing the capacity of the lungs. If the rib cage is tight, there's only so much space in the lungs to breathe oxygen in. We're making sure the lung is as open as possible. Take one more to each side. Just feel how nice it is to stretch through the shoulders, the ribs. Beautiful. As we come back through the center, hug the right knee into the chest. Take a few ankle rolls for that right foot. Just rolling it nice and easily. Hug that knee in as close as possible. We're getting that nice compression in the hip flexors. And start to extend this right leg up to the sky, moving into our hamstring stretch. Grab onto that foot or calf, wherever you can reach. Just let that right leg continue to lengthen up. It's as if there's no end point. The different focus in our stretches, rather than just getting to the first spot where you feel sensation and then stopping. It's like a never-ending checking in with our body, and it's like there's no stop to exactly where the leg will go. Feeling deep sensation, because that's where we start to improve circulation. That's where we start to tap into the deeper tissues like the fascia, helping to lengthen all of that. One more breath here for hamstring. Good inhale. And exhale. So now we're taking a hip stretch. Our right heel hooks to the back left end of the fabric, the part where our head is. If you're confused, I'll peek at the mirror or at neighbors. But it's essentially like a pigeon pose, but laying on our back. So hooking right heel to back left, and then just letting that right hip relax into the stretch. If you need to go deeper, hug the shin in closer to the chest. It's as if there's channels all over the body. And as we work on opening the channels, it's like the energy can more effectively flow through to all the systems of our body. Maybe think of it like pinched nerves if you had to think of it in the Western system, but I think of it more like waterways. If there's, leaves and wood and stuff like that clogging up a water path, the water can't flow down that one. So it's cleaning all of it out. That's what these deep, beautiful stretches are, making it so the energy we do have can circulate everywhere in our system. Another beautiful inhale. And exhale. Free out the foot. I like to take a bonus stretch up to the sky before I drop this right leg all the way down. Good. Left knee comes into chest. We're hugging it in. Take some nice ankle rolls. Leg starts to extend up to sky. Grab on where you can. Start that journey of lengthening, lifting, and extending this leg continuously higher. Make sure you're in good sensation. That's the real key. If I can feel good sensation, that's when I know that I'm doing good things to my body. Never to the point of pain. Sharp stabbing, throbbing, shooting, those are all the words we're not looking for. As long as it's just good, deep sensation, that's where we're doing progress to our body. One more breath here. Good inhale. Easy exhale. And hip stretch. Hook the left heel to the back right. Slide the shin in until you feel that hip relaxing into a good stretch. Maybe it's relaxed to the point where it wants you to hug a little bit closer for these last two breaths. So after that second exhale, free the leg out. Drop it down, keep the legs inside for a moment. And we'll grab the hands onto the fabric to help the torso sit up. Once we're sitting up, just reach the hands to the toes so that we're taking a nice stretch for both hamstrings. Sometimes it's nice here to roll through the neck as well. Let the head drop heavy forward. And then roll the head just a little bit to the right. A little bit to the left. It's always nice to give your body bonus stretches like that. Just a little extra beautiful thing, especially with the neck where it gets extra tight. A lot of people hold our tension there. Keep the right hand forward, so wherever it can grab onto, hook it, and then the left arm circles up and stretches all the way back for a nice spinal twist. I like to keep the left leg straight and the right knee can bend just a little bit. That gets me into the IT band just a little bit more. Which one is the left? Okay, so return your arm forward. Keep the left forward. Right arm circles back and right leg is the straight one. Another breath in and out. Return the arm forward. And here we'll take vampire pose. If you're very comfortable with vampire, go ahead and head into it. I'll teach those of you that are newer to it. So vampire pose, we're essentially getting ourselves upside down by the shoulders. So if you need to peek out and watch me, that's perfectly fine. The idea is we get the fabric that's behind our neck, behind us, and we cover the neck and the shoulders because that's going to be what holds our weight up. We don't want a ton extra, so you don't want it bunched up a ton. Otherwise, it'll push into the neck uncomfortably. So it's just one thin layer completely covering that area. I like to use my elbows to get all the excess fabric pushed down to my waist because when I lay back, I'm then going to take the fabric from my waist down to my feet. I do that by stepping my feet in, lift the hips up, and then straighten the legs out. So I've got it just perfectly set up, one good thin layer, and then hands reach up high, left and right. I pike the feet up, and then they stay on the inside. They push into the fabric, and by pushing, I'm able to lift upside down, okay? So I'll come by for anybody who wants me to kind of stop them as they're going, if it's new to you. But yeah, I get that one thin layer. A little much, but you can try it and see if it helps you. Okay, and then grab up high, left and right. Yeah, have your feet up. Your feet need to go all the way to the spot up here. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're in the fabric. Yep, that's exactly it. Yep, so you use that to come out, so you keep it and keep pushing into it to start lifting it. It's not scary. You've done a lot of fabric right here. So reps. Doing some of the fabric down. And then also step your feet as close to your hip. And that's follow inside of you. It looks like it's pushing them out a little. So if it's a little uncomfortable, come back down through a little bit more of the fabric down and give it a go. So if you step your feet all the way really close, where you like to do like a bigger step, push your pressure like side up. Yeah, I have to go on the side. Yes, do that big one. Fall up, baby. Yeah, what you do? Put your legs up. Both up. Pushing to the side. No, like this side. You can try it, and if you slowly more, you can slide over the neck. Grab up here. You're quick into the feet. You're on it. Pushing to stuff there, you know, and start to do it. Looking so by doing it wrong. I know. Yeah. Oh, I missed you. I'll come back in just a moment. Whitney, Jill has forgotten how to do it. Your neck looks good. You technically you can do this, you like tense your pressure up. So technically you can, but that throws the weight off really weird. So that's why I left it on the inside. So you just have your pressure. Okay.
Just like wrap it away all the way.
If you kind of turn your toes this way, then it'll keep it stuck. Yeah. Yep, there you go.
Oh,
yeah. So this way, yeah, this way it makes it so you can stack really tall versus if you're wrapping, you can't stack like that.
Yeah, I was like, so maybe I put
so don't stay upside down to the point where you're getting dizzy, but as long as you're still doing good, you're welcome to nothing. If you want to go up or if you don't want to, you ask. Here. So you what a little trick. Turn your toes this way and that way, and that'll help it stay.
yeah, this whole time.
You did. Yeah. So those that want to stay upside down a little bit longer, that's great. If you've been upside down for a while and you're about ready to start coming down, all you have to do is just slide your feet down and your hips will come back into the fabric. And again, no rush to come out, but those of you that are out, what we do is we take some time after each inversion to make sure that the head and the blood pressure have a chance to flip back around so we don't get all dizzy. So you can either just get the head back inside and lay back for a little while, or you can come back to that position we were just at with the legs long and you come up and sit inside and just take that forward fold. So either way, we're taking a good restful position. You'll notice we're going to have a couple of inversions today where we're upside down like that. So you'll notice after the inversions, we'll always take this time like this to just be upside down for a little while. If ever you start to feel like dizziness or something like that, sometimes it just takes a little while for the body to get used to being upside down if it hasn't been upside down in a while. So don't worry, that takes time to get used to, but you can always skip inversions if you start to feel that way, like dizzy, nauseous, anything like that. You don't have to force anything that your body's not quite ready for. Okay. If you're still recovering, great. If you're starting to feel pretty good, like you could move on, let me know by sitting all the way up and kicking your feet out. That'll be kind of our sign that you're a little check mark, you're doing okay. Good work. Okay, and let's take a neck stretch while we're here. So we'll clasp our hands behind our backs, shift the hands to the right hip or the right waist, and then drop the right ear to the right shoulder. Feel how nice that is through the side of the neck, down to the shoulder. Okay, the head rises and shift the hands to the left, dropping the ear to the left. Good work. Head comes back up. Release the hands. We're going to exit. So I like to grab onto the fabric on each side and then lift the toes up. That lets the fabric slide down the thighs. And then tilting forward, you're able to just kind of dip right back out. Okay. We're going to do the hips all the way around the world. This is really good for just the whole sides. So side body, front body, back body, it stretches all that out. So with the fabric still in front of your shoulders, circle around like you're giving yourself a hug, and then circle around the head in that direction. I like to wrap once, twice, and then it just falls into the hands. Good. I like to slide nice and high for this one. And then keep your toes where they are, keep the grip where it is, but from here start to just pull the hips as far back as they can go. So this is that nice stretch. So we'll start to circle our hips to the left. Feel that good side body stretch. Continue to circle all the way forward. Huge arch through the spine. Bend to the knees if it's too deep. Circle to the other side. And back. If your hands need a break already, stand up and wiggle your fingers for a moment. If you're okay to just take another circle or two in this direction before we switch, that's perfectly fine. Sometimes you start to speed up after that first big one. And don't worry, grip strength will gets stronger over time. Okay, whenever your fingers need that break, come to stand, wiggle the fingers for a moment. Good. And then we'll head to second side. So grab back on, lean back. And if you are with me, you are circling to the second side. So to me, it's left. Forward. Right. Back. And then if you want to continue that pace, that's fine. Or go a little bit faster for a few rounds. Think of it just clearing up all these channels. And eventually, your hands that break when you're ready for it. When you're on that break, you can free your hands all the way out this way. Good. Okay, fabric out in front of us. This is just an easy grip after that last one. So it's just kind of resting in the hands. Hands are about as wide as the shoulders or a little bit wider. And start to bend forward. And easy, spine nice and long. Bending the right elbow down to the ground. Leave the left arm straight and sway toward the front door. Really good side body stretch. And straighten both arms back forward. Second side, left elbow bends down. And a straight right arm to the back. The knees can do whatever they need to do to be comfortable. Beautiful. Stretch back forward. Another moment to really settle into the length here. So try to take the sitting bones and point them even further back. Good. Slight bend to the knees. Roll the spine up. Right thigh inside the fabric. Again, just an easy grip. Just flat hands is all is really necessary. You don't have to do the death grip. And then start to sink your weight forward. This can be a combination of left hip stretch, the front of the hip, and that left calf stretch as you try to sink that heel backwards. And we'll transition directly to warrior two. So grab both hands on the left hip. Rotate your standing toes to the left. And then open one arm or both arms. So one to the mirror, one to the back wall. Inner thigh stretch. Now that massage, know that it gets better over time. That fascia gets more used to that really deep massage that we're giving it. If it's pretty intense, just back some of your weight closer to your standing leg. If you're doing okay, keep sinking forward into the really deep stretch. Now, shaking is okay. Grabbing onto the fabric, squeezing your thighs together to return. Continue to face back wall, back door, and slide the fabric to that right angle. Okay, we're still gripping on the left. Left hand slides up, right hand slides down. So flip your, there you go. And this opens the chest. So again, that really good stretch for the ribs. Deep full breaths. And you're welcome to sink your weight as close to the mirror as you'd like. All sorts of channels. Think of the breath as trying to take up 3 or 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Even slower if you can. Squeezing our thighs together. We're back to standing. Grip one hand on each side. Face forward. So this is a hamstring stretch. You have the option to either just slide the hands down. This is the easier option. Nice and deep for that hamstring, or slide the hands up to take more of a split. Beautiful. Come back to standing on your left foot. And we're gonna switch sides. You can either do the easy switch, just step this foot out, step the other leg in, or the swinging switch. You grip up high, you lock your leg straight, and then you step one foot in, step the other foot out. Once you're there, slip to thigh. That's okay. The only thing that happened, you bent your knees the last moment, and then that's when it slid through. Yeah. Yeah, that's okay. Hands up high. Make sure you're not too far behind plumb line. And then start to sink your weight forward. Good. Notice if one side already you're feeling is extra tight compared to the other. The good thing to note is we're aiming toward balance eventually. Maybe start to think of the breath as those counts. How many counts can you get? Keep breathing as we switch to warrior two, both hands on right, standing toes rotate to the right. Maybe one arm opens forward, maybe the other arm opens back. Sinking weight to mirror if your inner thighs are doing okay. Okay, hands return. Weight returns over the center. Flip the fabric to the ankle. Good. So again, open chest. So right hand up, left hand down. Yeah. And perhaps sink weight forward if there's space for that. Long, deep breaths. Imagine there's parts of the lungs that haven't really touched fresh air in a while. So can we help to perfuse those areas as well? And return the weight back over standing leg. Grip one hand on each side, face forward. Either the easy option, just simply slide hands down, lean the torso closer to the thigh, or the split. Slide hands up, sink the weight as far forward as you'd like. One more deep inhale. Exhale. Weight comes back. You can just step this leg out. Let's go for our hip hang. So take the fabric across your hips like a belt. Make sure it's low. So we're not trying to get into belly. That's uncomfortable. So stay on the bones. So even come to the tippy toes if you need. So you're taking all the slack out by walking forward. And then at that point, start to bend the waist until you can drop hands to floor. And then you need to walk back under plumb line. So good 3 or 4 steps backwards. So if this is that really intense massage on your bones, take it like a down dog where you're trying to almost lift your hips off of the fabric. You're lifting your hips so high. So that'll lessen the intensity. If you want the full hip hang, you can start to lift the toes up, even hug around the shin. If there's other variations you know and love, you're welcome to go into those. I won't guide them today, but you're welcome to play with anything that feels good here. And same rule as before, if your head at any point wants to come up, just slowly roll your head up. You don't have to stay as long as anybody else ever. And make sure it's on the bones and never in the belly. That's what makes it so much more comfortable, is to be in the bones. You got it. So those that are really relaxing into that hip hang, you can stay as long as you like. Those that are eventually ready to come out, again, plant your feet, slowly roll the head up, and then take the fabric behind you. This will be that supported position that doesn't require any effort, but it gives our head time to flip back to this orientation. I personally like to support the weight of my head in my hands. As I'm rocking, I might bend my right knee, and my right elbow tries to lean to that knee. It's a really good side body stretch again. And then bending left knee, sway all the way to the left. Good. So from this point, make sure the fabric's completely below the shoulder blades, even into almost like the waist area. So with the fabric nice and low on your back, start to walk the feet forward. Once your hips are under plumb line, then release the core so that you're just kind of hanging by your hips. Really nice to pull the spine out of compression. Sometimes just staying here feels amazing. I'll give some options if you would like to join with me. So first we'll take figure 4, right ankle to left thigh, and then let that right knee try to relax down and open. And just a note, if you ever need to readjust the fabric, it feels like it's getting into your armpits, cutting circulation off, just readjust your fabric, nothing wrong with that. Okay, right foot down, left leg, figure 4. The knees opening. Yeah, we're all jealous. Okay, planting the foot. Another option is a twist, just dropping the knees to one side for a little while. Eventually the other side. Good. And I like frog leg circles too. You straighten the legs directly back, then you circle through the sides as you travel back forward. So it just really opens up all those hip muscles that are connected there. You can even reverse it again. So then circle wide as you go back and then straight to go forward. Good work. The head out, we'll straighten the legs. Take a slight back bend for a moment. Arch the head back, straighten the legs. Good. And then roll the head back up. Start to walk the feet backwards until you're standing up on your own. Good. Breathe the feet out, fabric out in front. Beautiful. Going straight to right ankle inside. So same option as before. If you want to just lean forward, that's great. If you want to go to the splits, this is a chance to perhaps go a little deeper than the first time. Good work. Weight comes back. Grip both hands on the left. And we're going to take a full 180. So rotate the left toes to the left and then continue to turn backwards. You'll kind of need to bend the knee down after you get to the 5 point. Yep, you got it. And taking backwards. Beautiful. So from here, grip just over each shoulder. That's the down grip. That's it. Okay, so dancer's pose. Point the elbows to the back wall that engages the shoulders. Start to lean forward and then kick the foot into the fabric. The kick is what creates the lift into dancer's pose. Beautiful. Drop that back down. Just rest the fabric behind each shoulder blade and lean backward into a quad stretch after that. And standing back up. Find your balance, even use the wall if you need to, but we're eventually dropping the hands all the way to the floor. Once we're there, drop the left knee to the floor. Good. So some core options. The easy option is leave the left toes on the floor and just slowly lift the left knee up and down. That's the easier option. Option number 2 is to lift the full leg up and down. Tap the toes and then lift the leg up. So more like a plank position, straight. So either knee lifting up and down, just gently engaging the core, helping to build that strength. Or plank position, lift up and down. Good. I'll let you choose how many reps. Whenever you're satisfied, it's a pigeon pose. So swivel that left knee closer to the chest, and then the toes kind of tuck again a little bit too. Drop down to elbows. Good. Planting the hands. Softly drop the right knee down. If you need a cat-cow, you just kind of reset the body, that's fine. And then we'll head up to a standing pose. Resetting to the second side, so you choose how to get up. Maybe a down dog. And then walking the feet to the hands. And then circling the arms up maybe, or any other way to get up. Good work. So one more side with that one. So left ankle in, facing forward. Option 1, slide the hands down. Option 2, splits. Also remember, don't be too far behind plumb line. I like to be just slightly behind it by like an inch or 2. Is your option. I like to stick with whatever I did on the other side, so my body's trying to aim for balance. Okay, weight comes back. Grip both hands on right. Standing toes turn through the right. And then we continue to turn all the way to the back wall. Once you're there, have a grip, a thumbs down grip over each shoulder, and sometimes a little hop backwards feels best. Good. Point the elbows directly to the back wall. Start to lean forward. And kick the foot into the fabric to create the arch in the spine, the lift of the foot. Spine raises up. Rest the fabric on each shoulder blade, and then just lean backwards, quad stretch. Standing back up. Find your balance, even using the back wall if you need to. Work the hands all the way down, and then the right knee down. And another core moment. Maybe just work the knee lifting up and down softly. Maybe straighten out like plank, and then lift that right leg up and down. Up and down. Again, same as before. You choose how many reps. So try to get yourself to the point where you're challenging yourself just a little bit. But when you feel like you've done a good amount, start to soften into pigeon pose. Right knee is down, the toes swivel a little closer to the shoulders. I like to drop to elbows. One more deep breath in and out. Palm up to hands. Softly drop left knee down. Maybe a cat and a cow. However you'd like to eventually head up to standing, gradually make your way there. No rush for the head. Okay, let's do one more inversion together. This will be straddle back. Those of you that know it again, go right ahead into it. I'll walk you through the steps and just know there's an even easier way to do it if this one is a little too much challenging for a first time. So you're standing in front of it, the fabric's in front of the shoulders. Your goal is to try to get the fabric across your sacrum and leave it there. So you need to slide just your thumbs in, and then you're pushing your palm so once the fabric's on the sacrum, it doesn't like continue to slide up your back. You're pushing in there, it's staying. 1 foot steps back. Start to lean your weight into the fabric. That's what locks it on the sacrum. And then tiptoeing forward until you're under plumb line. That'll make it so you don't swing like crazy. Once you're under plumb line, it's kind of like a balance trick. As your hands come up, your knees go wide. Wide means you won't fall out. And then you just have to wrap your. So hands up, knees wide, feet wrapped. Once your feet are wrapped, you're welcome to let the hands go and just hang. So let's try one more time. And if it's too challenging, I've got another way to do it. You're pretty much sure. One foot back. Your knees lean back. There it is. Step forward a little bit. Yep. Slide your hands up. Yeah. Go wide. Wide. No, you're there. You're there. Just means wide. Otherwise, it don't float. Like wider than the fabric. Okay, come back in. If you just want to balance, kind of in the just kind of and that's it. And now you come up over your head if you want it. Good job coming up, Sam. Yeah, that's it. You made it. So it's poses like this that become addicting eventually. At the beginning, they're still pretty intense, but eventually it's just like that chance to just let your spine lengthen. It's like, oh, sometimes you just crave it so much. You're like, I woke up really weird. I just need to like hang for a little while. Yeah, so perfect recovery pose. If you're coming out, that's just the same recovery, just lean back for a little while. Do you need some help? Oh, what's going on? So is that all what you're doing? Like slide that. Okay, so you switch it. So because you have all your fingers in there, that gets it really stuck. So just your thumbs. Good. That's right there. So now it's like your whole palm is trying to keep it there. Good. So as you're keeping that there, 1 foot steps back. Start to bend your knees as you lean back. Yep. Tiptoe forward. See, that's why it's just thumbs, because the thumbs make it just one finger that has to flip out. So try instead of tucking your thumb quite so much, untuck just a little so your palm can still push, but you're not quite so tucked with your thumb. Yep. That's it. And then as the hands start to go up, and to tilt back. If you've been out for a while, you're welcome to come back to this chair stuff that we were playing with before. So you can tilt your knees, you can do the figure four, you can do the frog legs, just whatever feels good for your body. Take your time to just play with any of those things for a little while. This will give the people that want to be upside down a little bit longer, a little bit more time. And if you're playing with like one side and then the other for this chair stuff, that's fine. Another option is spread both feet nice and wide, and then drop your hands to help press the inner thighs really open. You can even take a moment straightening one leg. And eventually the other. It'll work. Tilt the feet back together. Straighten the legs, walk backwards to stand up. And take one last stretch for the arms, shoulder area before we wrap up. So act as if you're gonna head back inside, but we're not gonna get all the way there. So you're at the front of your mat, you're grabbing the fabric, wave it out. And then turning back forward, hook your thumbs. But this time just slide your elbows all the way in. And you might face the other way because this one gets really close to the mirror.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, from here, walk even further past the mat. You can either just keep the feet together and arch the heart forward, or take a lunge. So right foot forward, left foot back, and then kind of lean forward into it until you feel the chest and the shoulder area opening really nicely. Good. And step the feet together for a moment. Do a head roll before we switch. Either do it a second time or switch legs if you did the lunge. So roll your head to one side, the other. Okay. And second side. So left foot if you did the lunge, or just feet together again, arch forward. And feet together. As you're back on your mat, you're going to flip your grip. So now your thumbs stay inside and the fingers are dripping lower. So then from here, we're able to grab onto our fabric. So grab about half of it. So about 5 or so grips. Back up under the plumb line. Rise up to tippy toes. Start to work your glutes in. Okay, you can put that around if you like. And slide in. We're heading to our final Shavasana. So your head will be in, your legs will be in. We're laying all the way back. That final resting pose, I think of it as all the work that we did. This is the chance for our body to integrate all the benefits, but also just on this energetic level that we're talking about. This is where it's like the flow of, you know, the energy, the chi, the prana. This is where all the magic really starts to happen. Take at least a couple of the 3-part yogic breath. So all you have to do for that one is start by breathing into your belly. And then you continue to expand the side ribs out to the side and continue to fill up your ribs until your collarbones start to rise. So belly, side ribs, collarbones, everything's so full. And then just reverse it back down. Collarbones down first, side ribs in next, and then belly in. Like an ocean wave, belly, side ribs, collarbone. Exhale, collarbone, side ribs, belly. Take at least 3 or 4 of those. So we're really filling the body up with as much air as possible. Eventually let it softly back. Imagine if the very act of breathing could be more energizing than coffee. Imagine if we really actually let our lungs fill up more throughout the day. What if we wouldn't need to rely on so much external stuff? What if we included healing practices, massages, and nature walks into our normal life so that we could get the energy of just being in nature? So many sources of energy we have to draw from. Maybe being around the people that mean so much to you, just getting that energy from them. In this moment, the next few minutes are just a chance to rest and breathe. Here, begin to deepen inhales, deepen exhales. We'll start to introduce movements and stretches back to the body. Start by wiggling fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. Maybe take some of the stretches like we did at the beginning, stretching the arms to the back wall, leaning left and right. Sometimes people like to take a fetal position. So you do that by keeping the legs long and then rolling onto one hip. One hip is stacked on top of the other. And then from there, you can curl in and arch back. It's a good chance to just wake up the spine. So if you want to do the fetal position, take a few to one side, 3 or 4. Eventually you can switch hips, taking a few to the other side. Breathing, stretching, waking up, returning. Maybe 3 or 4 more breaths. And then we'll start to work our way up to a comfortable seated position. Whenever you're ready. Arms grabbing onto the fabric, torso up, legs kicking forward out of the fabric. Breathe. So here with hands at the heart, we'll reconnect with our intention. This idea of drawing energy in from seemingly nowhere, from the breath, from community, from food, from nature. And so knowing that we've got all these sources, even when there's a rough day where you have to get up and get going, when it's, no sleep or whatever the case is, you can draw from all those sources, just asking for permission to draw from the abundance that already is. So with this idea to lead us on, let's wrap up the time we shared together today with the sound of oh. Inhale now. May we be filled with light and happiness and peace. Namaste.